Good evening, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to the evening session of Being Heartful Every Day with Swadhyaya. As we continue our reflections on this week's theme, which is evolution and freedom, today we dive a little deeper into how evolution is not only a personal journey, but one that subtly influences the world around us. Earlier, we explored how evolution is the refinement of consciousness and how freedom naturally arises as inner limitation dissolves. This evening, we turn our attention to how this evolution radiates outward and how inner freedom gradually leads to freedom from the self itself. Daji reminds us that meditation not only brings about evolution in our own hearts, peace, and tranquility, but it helps others also to change at some level, though they may not be actively meditating, by the simple fact that they are associated with us by either emotional or blood relationship. This truth is deeply reassuring and deeply humbling. When we meditate sincerely, the refinement that happens within us does not remain confined to our inner world. The heart, once refined, even slightly, becomes a gentle transmitter of peace. Those connected to us, our family, friends, colleagues, begin to experience subtle shifts. Their restlessness may reduce, their anger may soften, and their anxiety may ease, even though they may not understand why. And this is evolution at a collective level. One heart refined becomes a lamp, silently lighting many others. And this is why Master stresses the importance of inner work, because no act of inner transformation is ever individual, it is always collective. As we evolve, the experience of freedom also deepens. At first, freedom appears to be a freedom from outer limitations, from pressures, fears, tendencies, or emotional burdens. But as Daji beautifully explains, freedom from freedom, fana e fana, liberation from liberation, is possible when we are liberated from the lower self itself. As long as there is a self, there is an ego attached to it. Truly, we should be seeking liberation from oneself, not for the self, but from the self. This is a profound shift in understanding. We realize that true spiritual freedom is not about strengthening the self, polishing the self, or securing comfort for the self. It is about transcending the self, that small reactive part of us that clings, fears, compares, and seeks validation. Evolution takes us gently toward this dissolution, a state where the self becomes transparent, where ego loosens its grip, and where only the divine presence shines within. And this inner journey culminates in the deepest freedom, a state where the soul is no longer bound even by its own individuality. Dear sisters and brothers, as we move through this week, let us continue sharing these sessions and the heartfulness master classes with love. When we invite another heart into this journey, we are contributing to a larger evolution, one that brings peace, clarity, and subtle transformation to many other hearts. You will find the additional reading material and videos of Revered Daji on the theme of this week available on the Heartfulness app, and you can access these resources under the Sunday tab dated 23rd November. And with this, we move forward towards the inspirational reading, which continues from the Heartfulness Way, Book 2. And this is from chapter 2. And we have read till page 35 yesterday, and we'll start from the last paragraph of the page 35. Since the text will not be displayed, we invite everyone to please keep their own copies beside yourself, because reading directly strengthens Swadhyaya and allows each word heart to absorb the message at its own depth. Daji, you mentioned finding freedom from the root cause of pain and misery. Can you please speak to us about this freedom? Elizabeth, at the core of life's struggle is the desire to be free from pain and misery. It is the yearning for happiness and freedom. Whether it is a change in an individual or a society, the driving force for change is freedom. What does it mean to want liberation? Many people meditate to escape the suffering of worldly life to avoid pain. It may be very valid reason, but it is still within framework of likes and dislikes. Babuji said that the true freedom is beyond that desire to be free. The old man had a knack of weaving words. Most people's idea of freedom is freedom from something or someone. For example, health is freedom from disease. Divorce is freedom from a failed relationship. Wealth is freedom from poverty. Happiness is freedom from misery, and so on. But this is conditional freedom. When conditions change, freedom is gone. You lose your health and you fall sick again. You lose your money and you're back in poverty. Then there are people who wish to come back again and again to this world to enjoy bliss. Actually, spiritual bliss is more addictive than any drug, and we experience bliss at every stage of the inner journey, whenever we merge with that stage. Some philosophies consider the pinnacle of human potential to be Satchitanand, meaning existence, consciousness, bliss. But Babuji said that Satchidanand is like a worm feeding on cow dung and admiring its flavor. In other words, it is just another stage of attachment, even if a high one. Those who are attached to Satchitanand remain tethered to experience, whereas the soul yearns to be free. We need to let go of bliss if we are to keep going. Avoiding pain through liberation and wanting pleasure through devotion and bliss are just stages along the way. I repeat, avoiding pain through liberation and wanting pleasure through devotion and bliss are just stages along the way. They are not the goal. If we remain shackled to our likes and dislikes on the inner journey, it is no better than a person living a completely worldly existence. Aren't our inner likes and dislikes just as enticing? This is the crux of it all. Every day I hear people saying, "Oh, it was such a wonderful meditation today. It felt so blissful and peaceful." When meditation is restless and uncomfortable, do people praise it? It may be the most valuable meditation for their evolutions. Likes and dislikes are obstacles and they will eventually go. When we accept whatever comes our way without judgment, it's a sign that our consciousness is finally purified. Dear sisters and brothers, let us take a pause from the reading and we'll now offer the universal prayer together. All brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है. May our hearts evolve with purity and grace. May true inner freedom blossom within us. And may we gradually transcend the limitations of the self and awaken to the divine essence within. Dear sisters and brothers, before you close for the day, let us take a few moments to offer the bedtime prayer and the reflections of the day. And often these reflections inwardly to the Master. Dear sisters and brothers, thank you for joining this evening session. And as we continue exploring the theme of evolution and freedom, may we become more aware of the subtle refinement happening within and more sensitive to the quiet divine grace spreading outward through us. We look forward to your presence for the morning session tomorrow at 6 a.m. Until then, may peace, remembrance, and Master's subtle presence guide you. Good night.